Are they on the phone?
Yeah, we can go to number 3. Concept discussion for a public art project at the Middleton Municipal Airport along the fence.
Yeah, this is something that Matt Hofelt and I talked about. This was his idea and a very cool one to get more public art in the city. And I'm going to let Matt give you his idea. And Matt, let me know if you need me for any details.
Absolutely. Well, good evening, gang. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So the idea is fledgling at this point, and we had a lot of good ideas when Katie and I talked even briefly about it, collaborating and created an idea and so on and so forth, as many times teamwork does. But the airport, of course, near and dear to our hearts, a very cool place, and we love engaging the community, getting more people out to the airport, as it is their airport. And we're very lucky to have that asset in Middleton. So bringing people out that might not necessarily be out there is something that we seek to do. And the airport fence, of course, along Airport Road is long, it's large, and it's kind of a neat spot to do a rather large art installation. So the idea was, let's have a day that people paint, a large piece of plywood, like 4x8 sheets of plywood, and be able to install those on the fence and, have something collaborative and quite beautiful there at the airport. And Katie and I talked more about that, about, do we paint there? Do people do it, prior to the day, and it's really more of an installation day, which is kind of where we went, with the concept. And then it evolved into having the ability for businesses and civic organizations to be able to do their panel, if you will, and be able to basically install them during a fun party and get together at the airport, and be able to further tie in businesses around the area that wish to participate, with having people take pictures of, that specific business's panel, and bring it into that business for some sort of special or deal or whatever that is, to drive people to their business through that artwork. So that's kind of where it is. But really what it is, a really neat art installation at the airport.
Matt, maybe you said this and I was thinking about other things you were talking about, but what did you envision the material would be?
Yeah, we would probably be using like a 1/4-inch plywood, something relatively light but robust enough to live in that environment. So, that piece of 4x8 plywood, which is a standard kind of sheet of plywood, if you will, and they can paint one side of that. We can easily attach that, to the chain link as it goes along. And yeah.
Is
So are
this a
you
permanent
providing-
installation?
Sorry,
It could be,
Okay.
as long as it will hold up, I
Well, I
guess.
guess that was my question. Like, would we need to seal it, coat it?
Oh, yeah, I think, Matt, we talked about some kind of sealant too, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how long people envision that to happen. If I were to guess, and I suppose we could certainly experiment with this, with something small and doing a couple, test patches, if you will. But if you took a 4x8 sheet of plywood, painted it with house paint or spray paint, and put it out in the weather, my guess is you'd have a good couple months before you saw deterioration to the point where it's not, pretty or whatever anymore.
So are you providing the plywood for everyone? Are you purchasing the plywood?
I think the goal is that we would have an outlet that has, that that thing. Middleton Co-op has that sort of thing and can do that for us, where these businesses, individuals, organizations would go prior to the event and kind of pick up their supplies from this as we put that together. A sheet of plywood is, probably 10, 12 bucks, and they can paint and decorate and do whatever they want, really leading up to the event, take as much time as they want, and then everyone that day would bring their finished artwork, their finished canvases to the airport, and we would put them up on the fence while we did an event at the airport. And what that is, again, Katie and I talked about a few different concepts of maybe it's a small concert that happens that day, some food trucks, some music, whatever that might be, possibly an art fair as well. I certainly would look for suggestions for people to make this successful based on what has worked in the past and people have experience with. We've done obviously large events at the airport, and we're pretty good at doing that. But the art thing is not as much my area of expertise as the other events that we've done.
I guess my only thought I have a couple thoughts with this is if it's going to be temporary, I would want to know like a projected timeline of how long this would be out, and how many sheets of plywood it would be total. Another thing that I'm thinking of is if all the companies kind of have at-will choices for paint and stuff, it could get really busy. So sometimes it's good to limit the amount of colors they're allowed to use, so have more stipulations. And then also I would suggest having a theme, so it's not all just like random pieces of art, so it kind of looks cohesive. Another thing that you would probably want to stipulate is that it can't be advertising. So
Yeah.
like no logos, phone numbers would not be allowed, that kind of thing.
Yeah, certainly we can come up with, some of those things for sure. The commercial side of it for sure. I think, if we were to do this, whatever time that they would be installed, we'd certainly take them down then in the fall, type thing. So we wouldn't see them, into inclement weather. So kind of for the summer, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody knows, but are those sheets of plywood then usable again? I mean, if the paint fades, can we just store them someplace and do it again?
Well,
Or do we not have any place to put? Oh,
The problem is that traditional plywood, not marine grade plywood, is going to, take on
Doesn't-
water, if you will.
it
So as
splits,
they're
doesn't it?
exposed to it will, things will happen to that wood for sure. But it most certainly does not mean that it's not usable in another way, whether that be, firewood or whatever it could be.
Yeah,
It
I was
certainly
thinking,
wouldn't.
I wonder if it would fuel the fire pit at Stonehorse.
There you go.
Yeah, you just start cutting them into strips and that sort of thing, and it certainly would do that. And either way, we wouldn't want it to go to waste per se.
Yeah.
I've got a question about, so do the businesses pick up their plywood, their paint, and are given the stipulation list? Is it on them to sort of organize events for the community to come in and collaborate and make the art? Or is
Yes.
that something, okay.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, but pretending that Capital Flight is going to do their panel. We would go to Middleton Co-op, say, hey, we're here to pick up our panel for this art project. Yep, there you go. It's this size. Take it back, paint it. We'd paint airplanes and whatever on it, and then that day we'd put that up with everybody else that decided to do their thing, and there you go.
Okay. So it's kind of for the businesses to figure out, where am I painting this? How am I getting people there?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Jolene, You're muted.
Me?
No, Jolene.
Oh,
In terms of like, because I really agree with Meg as far as keeping it, I mean, keeping it from being maybe too busy, would be having some sort of design approval process before they get started, like just a notion sketch, you know, just something very, you know, not too difficult, for us to just approve or not approve. And then the second thing I was wondering is the plywood sounds like a great idea because I'm guessing you don't want people painting your chain link fence directly. Because, you know, unless it's washable. But, you know, are there any other materials that could be put in like cloth or something else that could be done that's artistic, but, you know, just a different material? I'm thinking
Yeah,
like
and
a
we
hook and
certainly
latch
could
kind of thing.
look at that and figure out if, you know, banner material or, you know, some of the other things that we use for signage for some of the events that we do that we put on the fence, you know, if they would hold up or not as well.
Okay. Another thought was just along that lines is the plywood would probably be heavy and it'd be all along the fence. I don't know if there's gonna be windbreaks or anything like that, or just structurally. It would get-
Yeah, and I think that depending on the size, there certainly could be, you know, holes put in the, you know, in the plywood and whatnot, like you see on some of the larger banners. Using something thinner, you know, that 1/4 inch there's not going to be a significant amount of weight from that standpoint as it's distributed out. That's not too bad from that side. But we, you know, we certainly can research what the best material might be for achieving the goal.
Mhm.
I think it's a
Abby,
great
would this
idea.
have to go to like another committee for approval, like ordinance, or what are like the rules for that?
I would have to look at how we've handled it in the past. I know for permanent murals, like the Love Your Neighbor that the Arts Committee did, the aviary has a permanent mural. Those go to the Plan Commission for design review. And we don't charge an application fee because our staff doesn't really have any time reviewing it. We just put it forward, and as long as it's not a commercial message, it's not considered a sign. So the Plan Commission does review and approve those, but I don't know if it would be the same requirement for something that is temporary. We would just want to make sure that we think it through about similar projects and that we're treating this project the same as we would any other private business or any other city project. So I would just want to look into that a little bit, but if it does have to go to the Plan Commission, it's a pretty easy process. They meet twice a month, so.
Does this need a working group, do you think?
I don't know.
I think so, which brings to mind, you know, the proximity to Art Walk would be a factor for any of the committee time or the non-Art Walk committee time. But yeah, it seems like you'd want to have at least one point person that's
Yeah.
handling the planning or logistics or whatnot.
Well, I would be willing to be part of a working group if some of us wanted to get together and just hash out a rough plan sometime soon.
You know that I'll do it, Katie.
Awesome.
But if anyone else wants to sign up first, please go for it.
Maybe one
And
of
of
our,
course, I'll do it too.
thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Maybe one of our two
Yeah,
newer
but-
members would be interested as well.
That would be good.
I'm interested.
Thank you, Beth.
Yay.
Yeah.
This could be an opportunity to do the pop-up art partner with the airport at that event instead of having to try to figure out another. Yeah.
Hey, Matt, since we have you on, we were wondering about Rock the Ramp. Are you skipping it this year?
We are.
Okay,
But the cruise and fly-in is still happening August 9th, is that right?
Yep, Aviation Autos is August 9th.
Okay. We,
Great.
we were just trying to decide if we wanted to try to do a pop-up art, but now that we're planning this event, this might be a great opportunity to partner with an event at the airport.
like have a kid's art project while the installation's going on.
Yeah, we had talked about the possibility of, art fair during this and, whatever. And there's a lot of room right out there to kind of dream about what could be really neat. But there's a lot of open area
Yeah,
in the field that we hold Rock the Ramp and the car show that we can accommodate just about anything.
Awesome.
be another super easy area for a bubble party. We can't
I was
help ourselves.
that.
Okay, anything
All right.
else on the concept for the municipal airport?
I guess it's just, Matt, did you have for like, this is summer of 26 or is this summer of 25? Like,
I think that it just depends on how quickly the group kind of comes to a consensus about what we want to do and if we're able to get it in for this year or if it's the year after. But
Okay.
again, we do events at the airport and we can make things happen pretty quickly, out there to make it happen. So I think a lot of the answers will probably come as we conclude that first meeting where we get together and kind of hash out some of these ideas and you guys bring your expertise of doing art events and things like that to what's possible out at the airport there.
Cool. Great. So we should probably, Katie, do you want to set us up with a?
Yeah, I will set up a doodle poll. I've never done it, but this is a chance to learn. And so I will send out a doodle poll to Jolene, Beth, and Matt and see when we can get together for our first discussion about it.
I
And
think you had
I'm
me.
certainly
Oh, and
happy to.
Elizabeth.
I think I want to know about the pop-up.
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay.
And I'm certainly happy to host that at our hangar so that you can kind of see the environment for anybody who's not, familiar with it. That could be beneficial, and we're happy to do that.
Super cool. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, you bet. Everybody have a great night.
Yeah, thanks a ton. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so moving along to number 5, discussion of website and social media. Who wants to take the lead, Beth?
I don't really have much to add. I'm not entirely sure what the group wants me to submit to the communications manager, to be completely honest. So, I guess what?
I think
That was
a
just-
Oh,
Sneeze.
I sneezed.
Oh, sorry. Bless you. So I guess
Oh,
I'm just hoping.
we
What?
should have like posted pictures of events, I think. Like we could have sent the event pictures.
So
then-
I'm wondering if going forward this year, at least for that piece that I'm hoping to do, if like Elizabeth, if you could just send me photos and a little like pretty much what you bring to the meetings to be like, this is what it was. It was really cute. Just so that I can put something together.
Okay, so the pop-up arts, you're saying
Yes.
what we've done? Okay, great.
Like after.
Yeah, or
an
even
event.
like, you could do a call out for the youth center projects. Like, I don't know who Michelle has on the docket, but if you still wanted to do one, you could do the stickers that I did. I have pictures of that I could send.
Right. So I
And
just,
in
if-
the post, you could include our donation link.
yeah. I don't have the donation link.
Okay. Abby,
So
I can give you that.
That should be the
I
same
was
as what
gonna
we did
say,
for Giving Tuesday. Sorry to chime in, Beth. The other thing I was curious, in the past, somebody, maybe it was the city, had put down Facebook events for the pop-up arts.
yeah.
So maybe we want to have I don't know if you're already getting a lot of people, but you know, if you have an event page for each event, then the pictures can go there and people can see past events and
And that's kind of what I'm wondering is, do we want to be doing stuff like that? Because I'm,
I
this
think
is only
so.
my like first full year on the committee, so I'm still kind of finding my
Okay.
legs.
Mhm.
So I would appreciate if we could, I don't know, send me some photos. I would like to get the donation link, maybe the volunteer link, if we still have to do the volunteer background checks and stuff, just so that people can do that sort of thing.
Okay.
Should
But
we meet up? Beth,
what?
should we meet up soon
Yeah,
and lay out like a content schedule maybe?
yes, that
Okay.
would be great. And then I was just hoping, since pop-up art has kind of taken off this last year, if we could just use the stuff from this last year to be like, hey, next year, and then use photos from last year
Mhm.
to get kind of going. And then I would also like to just get a handle on what are all the links for all the things.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
So we should,
Beth,
Abby, could we get a shared documentation space for our social media posts, like like just a folder in the SharePoint for Arts Committee?
sure.
Great. That would, I think, be really helpful because then we could just put like a guide in there for
Yes.
everything. Since you're basically writing the manual as you go, Beth, because we haven't really done this before. So
Right.
we're all
So
new
I
to it, if that helps.
wasn't quite sure where all of the links lived, or what, who I should be reaching out to find all of the things.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I can pull some of the ones that I know, and then we should probably check with Abby and Michelle and the rest of the team too.
Yep.
Okay.
And when you communicate with Brent,
Mhm.
I would just ask, please, based on another thing that he's working on for a different committee, that you copy me as the staff liaison so that he knows that this has been approved. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like he
Yeah.
doesn't, he was concerned because he was getting outreach from another committee and he didn't know who the person was and if they were actually on a committee. And so it's just better to also copy the staff person. And generally, which I know you all would do anyway, try to consolidate your request and communication into like one email where possible, knowing also that you're gonna have things that come up throughout the year, so it's not just gonna be one email. But there was
Right.
another situation where somebody was like, oh, and oops, I forgot to add this, and oh, can you also do this? And it was kind of piling up, and so we're just trying to make sure that he is able to get all of his work done and it doesn't get
Yeah.
too crazy. And Jolene, when you asked for a shared documentation space, is just a SharePoint file folder with editing privileges for everybody? Is that good? Will that work okay?
I think so. That should allow us to create documents, or for sure at least upload them for sharing.
Oh.
So let's give it a try. And if it
Okay,
doesn't work,
cool.
yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. So thank you all for your help in helping me figure this out and gathering information. So yeah, hopefully we'll have a better content schedule, especially since we've got a few more of the dates down for pop-up art and art committee, and or not art committee, art walk, and all of those sorts of things are getting kind of nailed down for the year. So hopefully we'd be able to let Brent know about a lot of the dates
Okay.
soon, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I
That
think we
sounds-
should put a shared calendar in there too, like, or just on a document or a spreadsheet. And that way we can have like targeted social media pushes or whatnot. Let's see. And maybe we could get Brent's input as well, because he probably has a lot of knowledge about where and when, or you know, how often to post, and probably what time of day is going to get the most traffic, etc.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
And
He
I
knows that
totally,
stuff.
yeah,
But
I was going to say, those are all expertise. I just want to make sure that I have all the content together and in the easiest to like just kind of copy and paste for him before I submit anything to him.
awesome.
Just because like we're not the only
Yeah.
committee.
Right. And I was actually wondering, and it's probably not the same because I don't know if Facebook has the same amount of like user permissions, but where we could write draft posts and then he could just authorize and post them, because But again, that's just that would be a for later question.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but that's all I've really got for social media. So I'll look for the share points. And Julian, you and I should get together and chat some more.
Oh my gosh, it's already mid-January. Holy cow.
Yep.
Okay. So with website, real quick, one donation. Everyone probably saw the email from Abby, from Giving Tuesday. We did that promo video, and I did note that we did have a song on there that, yeah, licensing. One of the things is that like when you're posting them directly, oftentimes you can use like the license that the social media platform has. But it's a gray area as far as I know, like, cause usually those are personal content, but I don't know how, it's not commercial content, so, but I'll look more into that. But for just to note, like, until then, we'll just use, public domain music until we get an answer on licensing for music, for backgrounds for videos, and, or anything. And then second thing I was going to say is, I was trying to think hard about how we are going to, make it accessible for us to have like our own content that is on with the city page. And so I was wondering, Abby, does anybody else like have like, is there a blog capability within the Middleton website platform?
I don't think there's a blog. No.
All right. Maybe we could link to PDF newsletters instead of updating the website, because that's another way we could kind of do it more easily with less involving of, city time. But
Are you wanting to do a regular newsletter or what were you thinking about?
well, I was just thinking that when we, things to correlate with our social media posts, usually you put a link to the page with more information. And so if we had a link to like the PDF, or maybe it's quarterly, I'm not exactly sure, because it's a matter of figuring out what we can do and then how often we want to do it. But so some flexibility for this idea. I mean, I prefer a blog. I mean, the first preference would be our own webpage. The second would be, links or a blog or something like that within the city webpage. And then the third would be just making our own documents and putting links on the city page, I guess, in order of preference.
The last option would definitely be the easiest to get approval.
Let's just start there this year then, because I think that honestly, it's that way it'll get done, and then we'll have a footprint for getting approval for more. I like that.
Mm.
So cool. So I guess with that said, just if there's anything, let's target beginning of March, like for our first newsletter. And if anyone has anything they want to include, like pop-up art schedule, like youth center updates or anything like that, just shoot Beth and I an email and we'll coordinate what goes where.
You want it by March 1st?
Well, earlier than that, if
Okay.
you want it in the March one, but there'll be I mean, honestly,
Okay.
that's just my first one, and then we'll figure out scheduling.
Okay. Just as soon as possible then, just get you content. Okay.
If you want it for the March one,
Okay.
get me the information maybe by mid-February, and then if you don't know the dates, we can sneak them in there right at the end if we need to.
Okay.
We'll put some TBDs in there.
Sounds good.
Speaking of donations, did we get a donation from Giving Tuesday? Okay.
No.
Okay, anything else related to website and social media? No? Okay. Special number 6, special events. Jolene again.
Oh, I should put some videos or pictures up. So, I did a little tag on thing or add-on thing for the Light the Green. And so we had, the Capitol Chordsmen sent us like almost a double quartet, of acapella barbershop singers, and they sang some carols, and I think they were a pretty good hit. I think lessons learned would be, definitely amplify their sound next time. And maybe, because it was so late in the game, I talked to the planner about giving them a little bit more space to do a couple more songs if they wanted to, or something like that. And honestly, in talking to them, I was like, if this is an annual thing, like they would go the whole 9 yards, Victorian costumes and everything. Just give it that vibe. But yeah. So next on deck, I have to think about it and I'll get back to you in the next meeting, but I'd like to do something in the spring when the weather gets warm.
Good.
Oh,
And then
One more
number
thing.
6.
Anyone has ideas, please let me know. I'm happy to facilitate.
Okay.
Great.
Anything else? Special events? Okay. I think we'll have to skip number 7 since Michelle's not here and I don't have an update unless Abby, do you have one?
No, except you sent me the order for your stickers on the youth center project, and I told John Hunter, and he says he had one of his students at the youth center who's been asking every day when their sticker is gonna come. So you must have had a very popular sticker class.
Michelle texted me and she was like, when are the stickers gonna be done? I was like, I haven't even started them yet because I've been so busy.
Oh.
But I got them done, so I mean, I have to like scan them in since they draw them, and then I kind of clean them up a little bit because when you scan it, it's not like a clear, like precise line, and so it just takes a little while. But yeah, so hopefully they like how those turned out, and then I think she's gonna have like a potter coming in soon, and I think Julia, did Julia already do it? I think Julia was doing 2 sessions again too. So those might be in May, but we'll let Michelle report on that next time, I think. Is there anything else before we adjourn? No? Okay. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good seeing y'all.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, we got it in.
Oh, do we need postcards before we?